Good evening. My name is Mike Benner. I'm the Public Information Manager here at the Portland Police Bureau. It goes without saying, thank you for joining us at this late hour. We're here to discuss the events unfolding on the Portland State University campus. What started as a rather peaceful demonstration has turned into criminal behavior, and we'll have a number of speakers this evening, starting with Portland State University President Ann Cudd, followed by Portland Police Chief Bob Day, Multnomah County District Attorney Mike Schmidt, and of course Mayor Ted Wheeler. With that, President Cudd.
Thank you, Mike. Good evening. As Mike said, I'm Ann Cudd, President of Portland State University. On Thursday, protesters began gathering in South Park blocks near the Portland State campus. The Portland Police Bureau intervened when the park closed, and the protesters went away. On Friday, the protesters returned. Once again, the Portland police asked them to leave. When the park blocks closed, the protesters at that point relocated to the library portico. So they were there on Friday night. On Saturday morning, the Saturday Farmers Market, which I attend every week, I met with the protesters and talked to them. I asked them who they are. They said they were faculty, staff, and students, but also community members at that time. I asked them to please let us have access to the library open, to vacate part of the portico. I felt that they should be able to make their points known at that point, and they agreed to that. So over the weekend, we did not take any immediate action against the encampment. We wanted to avoid escalating the situation. We asked that the protesters allow access to the library. However, by this morning, Monday morning, the encampment had grown and has resulted in much greater property damage and intimidation of our campus community. So given the growing health and safety risk to our campus community and interference with our university operations, this afternoon, we, the PSU leaders, asked the protesters to vacate the library portico. But then this evening, following a peaceful afternoon protest rally on the park blocks, a group of individuals broke into Miller Library, the main PSU library, and entered the building. Other protesters remained outside the building, blocking access. PSU Campus Public Safety Office was on the scene, but due to the size of the crowd, was unable to enter the building to apprehend the suspects. Portland State University supports free speech. That's what we're all about. And we know that this issue, the war in Gaza, is important to many individuals in our community. And emotions are running high. Many feel that the injustices are just too large to ignore. And I understand this, but I cannot condone or excuse breaking and entering. I cannot condone the property damage that has taken place at PSU's library. I've proven that I'm willing to entertain debate and discuss the demands of the protesters, but I would ask them now to choose to engage civilly on these issues rather than to resort to violence and property damage. PSU has requested now the assistance of Portland Police Bureau to remove the trespassers from the library. I implore any students who are involved, who are in the library right now, to please leave the library peacefully and go back home. Thank you.
So good evening, and I think President Cudd outlined the chain of events pretty well this evening. We are strong proponents and all in agreement up here in the importance of free speech and public order events, and today, for the large part, was exactly what I would expect of Portlanders. The Portland Police Bureau and the Police Department and the campus of Portland State University have been in constant communication, working together, and really allowing for these folks to participate in these expressions of free speech, intentionally not looking to escalate any of these events. Unfortunately, tonight, as President Cudd outlined, with the breaching of the library and the fortification going on at the library, this has now become a criminal event, and it's no longer considered to be a public order or free speech event, and requires a different type of response. And so we'll be working closely in hand with the University Police Department, and our own personnel and neighboring agencies to develop a plan to best approach the situation in the hopes of de-escalating and resolving this with no arrests or no amount of force. I echo the President's comments that if you are available, interested, and listening at this time to resolve this issue safely and quickly, would be to just simply go home at this point and allow the Portland State to restart the classes and the things that are needed to make the university function. We're always open to conversation, the Portland Police Bureau, dialogue. We are constantly committed to working to protect everybody's First Amendment rights. That's important to us. I want to thank President Cudd, DA Schmidt, and the mayor for this unified approach on this late hour. I think it sends a very strong message to our community, our entire community. The expectation that we have for all of us, how we show up in these moments, is critical. And the behavior we're seeing right now, we cannot support as an effort to try and message in a way that's just really not consistent with the values of Portlanders. So I'm going to turn it over now to District Attorney Mike Schmidt.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, President Cudd and Mr. Mayor. Appreciate you all coming together tonight on our unified approach. Like has already been discussed, I was disappointed to learn of the events taking place at PSU tonight. Our educational institutions deserve to be safe spaces and for our students and campuses to be able to function without fear or threats of intimidation or violence. While all of us up here are committed to working to protect freedom of speech, the actions taking place today with the occupation of the library have crossed the line into criminal behavior. I want to thank our law enforcement partners for their response and attention to this matter. They have my full support. I echo the Chief's directive to vacate the premises. Let me be clear, we will prosecute the cases. Pending review of evidence, of course, that is able to be collected, provided by law enforcement, I expect that felony charges could be filed depending on what evidence we gather, including burglary and felony criminal mischief, along with other potential misdemeanors. We'll review those cases as we receive them, and my office will be happy to provide updates on charges that we are able to issue. We've seen peaceful rallies and protests across the state and the country over the past few weeks, even today, earlier. And I encourage the people to peacefully make their voices heard. And if you're in the library right now, it would be a good time to leave and go home and continue this conversation in a civil manner. Thank you.
I don't have much to add that my colleagues here have already stated, but I want to make it clear that we're unified. Universities are set up with the understanding that people go there to explore the competition of ideas, and that's a noble purpose. But when people engage in criminal destruction and acts of violence, that is no longer the debate of ideas, and that is no longer peaceful protest. That is criminal activity. And what I hope the public hears, and what I hope the people in the library hear, is that we are unified. The university, the city, the county, the prosecutors, the police, we're all unified. And we will not allow acts of criminal destruction or violence to carry the day in our city. Thank you.
We have time for a few questions if you have them. And just address who you are, please remind us who you are, and then ask the question to who you'd like to speak to. Go ahead.
Michael Russell from North. I mean, do you guys have a sense of how many people are in the library right now?
It'd be a really rough estimate. I'm going to put that number between 50 and 75, and knowing that I could be completely off on that, but that's basically what we're believing.
Go ahead,
Yes.
Reagan.
Oh, sorry.
Going on with the Portland Mercury, I know you said you intend to sort of put an end to this. Do you have a timeline for when police might be on campus and trying to enter the library and get folks out?
No, I don't have a timeline. What I can tell you is that, we're going to be very methodical in our approach, that we have to make sure that there's proper procedures and policies in place safety-wise for everyone involved, not just members of the police bureau, but really, like I said, the safety for the entire community. So, this is going to take some time for us, and that's why we're also creating this space now for people to abide by the law and to leave and separate from this location.
And will it be the public order team that responds, or do we know yet?
No, it'll be members of the Portland Police Bureau in cooperation with members of Portland State University Police Department and security team.
Can you describe the property damage?
I'm not entirely familiar with the property damage. I know there's been some spray painting and things like that. Does anybody want to address that specifically or not? Do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, mainly, right now, it's graffiti all over the front of the library, going up to a couple of different floors of the library on basically all sides, plus there has been quite a bit of graffiti on several other buildings as well.
And may I ask a follow-up to that? Some Jewish students expressed concern about the Intifada spray paint and other various sayings like that. What would you have to say to them?
Yeah, so we are, all of the things that are written on the library are pretty vile, and they're pretty inappropriate. That said, we don't take, we are viewpoint neutral when it comes to protest, signs on protest, on signs or something. But when it comes to writing things on our walls, then that in itself is destruction of property.
Anyone else? Courtney, you have a follow-up?
Can I? Courtney again with the Mercury. I just, I know the DA mentioned there could be felony charges, but how does that even work? I mean, do you have a sense of how many people are students versus, just sort of protesters and allies, or how does that even work in terms of trying to formulate a prosecution?
Yeah, so in terms of prosecution, it's about gathering evidence. So seeing, when the police are able to go in, see what kind of evidence that they're able to gather. They will obviously write that up in the reports, document that, and then it'll be up to the lawyers in my office to review that. And if individuals can be associated with specific damage and things of that nature, then charges will be filed on those individuals.
And is there surveillance I'm just curious, genuinely curious, is there surveillance around the library?
No, we're not going to comment on tactics or anything at this time. Yeah, thanks.
Michael, what else from Oregonian?
Final question.
Did you mention neighboring agencies? Who else might be involved in this besides you guys and PSU?
Well, we're just talking about mutual support, not in terms of the actual events on the campus, but I have reached out to our regional partners to just ask if they would be able to support, calls for service in case we have to pull Portland police officers. But in terms of activity on the campus, right now I'm anticipating that only to be Portland Police and PSU. But we have been in touch with our regional partners and OSP if needed. But right now, that's kind of the plan. All right, thanks a lot.
Yep. All right, thank you for joining us tonight and being flexible and helping us share the message, and we will certainly be in touch. And thank you to our speakers.
Thanks.
Good night.